Let's get into who is Saint Valentine, because it's actually a person with an interesting story behind it. And it goes back. It goes back. Here, I got this history channel here. 6 surprising facts about Saint Valentine. Well, who was he? And there's actually, it says right here, it says it might be 2 different people, but I think it's all the same. Officially recognized by the Roman Catholic Church, Saint Valentine is known to be a real person who died around AD. Well, I like to do CE, Common Era, CE 270. However, his true identity was questioned as early as CE 496 by Pope Gelasius I, who referred to the martyr and his act as being known only to God. One account from the 1400s described Valentine as a temple priest who was beheaded near Rome by the Emperor Claudius II for helping Christian couples wed. In fact, it was young Christian couples. It wasn't just a blanket Christian couples. It was couples that were too young to legally get married but wanted to get married. He would marry them. So he was actually basically martyred because he was bringing people together. And I don't know what the age of what would be too young in, I don't know, the early, 2,000 years ago, basically. 1,500, 1,400, 1,600, whatever. It's a long time. A couple thousand years. Let's see. A different account claims Valentine was the bishop of Tierney, also martyred by Claudius II on the outskirts of Rome. Because of the similarities of these accounts, it's thought that they may refer to the same person. Enough confusion surrounds the true identity of Saint Valentine that the Catholic Church discontinued liturgical veneration of him in 1969 through his name, though his name remains on the list of official recognized saints. So I found out, and I'm not sure if I thought it was going to tell about this story, but so when he was locked up, he actually fell in love with the jailer's daughter and was writing love notes to her and wooed her, essentially. And in his final note, wrote to her that, he'll always be there. Well, goodbye. It was a pleasure to meet you, but from your Valentine. His name was Valentine. And thus the first Valentine message was written. In all, there are a dozen Saint Valentines, plus a pope. The saint we celebrate on Saint Valentine's Day is known officially as Saint Valentine of Rome in order to differentiate him from the dozen or so other Valentines on the list. Because Valentines, from the Latin word for worthy, strong, or powerful, was a popular moniker between the 2nd and 8th centuries AD. Several martyrs over the centuries have carried this name. The official Roman Catholic roster of saints shows about a dozen who were named Valentine or some variation thereof. And the most recently beatified Valentine is Saint Valentine Barrio Ocho, a Spaniard of the Dominican order who traveled to Vietnam, where he served as bishop until his beheading in 1861. Pope John Paul II canonized Barrio Ocho in 1988. There was even a Pope Valentine, though little is known about him except that he served a mere 40 days around 827 CE. Valentine is the patron saint of beekeepers and epilepsy, among other things. Saints are certainly expected to keep busy in the afterlife. Their holy duties include interceding in earthly affairs and entertaining petitions from living souls. In this respect, Saint Valentine has wide-ranging spiritual responsibilities. People call on him to watch over the lives of lovers, of course, but also for interventions regarding beekeeping and epilepsy, as well as the plague, fainting, and traveling. As you might expect, he also is the patron saint of engaged couples and happy marriages. Now, this is what I found interesting. They straight up have his skull. Listen to this. The flower-adorned skull of Saint Valentine is on display in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedian, Rome. In the early 1800s, the excavation of a catacomb near Rome yielded skeletal remains and other relics now associated with St. Valentine. As is customary, these bits and pieces of the late saint's body have subsequently been distributed to reliquaries around the world. You'll find other bits of St. Valentine's skeleton on display in the Czech Republic, Ireland, Scotland, England, and France. It's a little weird. I got to be honest. You're supposed to lay them to rest. So, you found an actual saint. You canonized him. He's a saint. You found his bones. Let's split them up and display them in pieces all around the world. It's a little weird to me. I mean, I'm not the most religious person, but that's kind of messed up. All right, that's kind of messed up. And it's interesting because there's actually a Saint Valentina also. Check this out. Saint Valentina, she was from Palestine. She was small and known for wearing old, worn-out clothing. One day she was with her friend Thea. They joined a group of Christians gathered to hear the Holy Scriptures. Local officials broke up the meeting, grabbed Thea, and tortured her. Valentina yelled, "How long will you torment my sister?" When the thugs heard her, they grabbed her too. Valentina was dragged away to be burned on an altar which had already been prepared for the heathens. Kicking the altar with her feet, she knocked it over. Then Valentina and Thea were tied together and burnt alive. This is, it's crazy. They died for their faith, and yeah, it's crazy how these witch hunts in the past are, people don't think about it. So like, now that you know a little bit of the history of Saint Valentine, the many different saints of Valentine, now think about what Valentine's Day is. It's a buy your lover stuff day. Prove to your lover that they are worth something to you. See, this is what I have issues with. If you really are with someone, you should be telling them all the time how amazing they are, and they you. You know, if it's a solid relationship, it's, you know, having a good partner is something that you should cherish. And I started my show by saying it's a good day because you're alive, you're awake, you're here, you're conscious, you're sentient. But if you have a partner that you love and adore, then you should tell that person as much as possible. I do myself. I have an amazing partner. She's incredible. I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for her. I mean that fully. Seriously, I would be somewhere, but it's not here. It's not in the state that the growth that I've had over the past many years that we've been together. So I try to tell her, I don't need a day, let alone something that has nothing to do with being a Hallmark holiday, buying flowers and chocolates and all sorts of stuff probably made in China, if you really want to be honest with it. Look, if you're with somebody, be grateful for them and tell them right now. Seriously, take a break, send a text to someone you love. It doesn't even have to be your partner, just someone you love, and tell them I appreciate you. You know why? Because that goes a long way. They might be having a bad day, and they will feel better just by doing that. I guarantee it. I'm telling you, that's the truth. If you give someone a nice, pleasant, hey, I'm thinking of you, hey, I'm grateful for you, that means so much. And some people may need it that you don't even realize. And you know what? On that note, I'm grateful for you because you show up for me. You're listening to my show. You're here right now. And I wouldn't be here without you either. You know, I always want to give thanks when I can. And that's what we all should do. And that's what a lot of people out there aren't doing. Right? They have no idea what they have. But recognizing what you have when you have it is a lost art that we should bring back. We got to bring it back.